Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that you can learn a lot from a person by the way they handle their obsessions and their passions. During these times in their life, they expose the best and the worst parts of their personalities. For me, that time was when I learned to snowboard. In 2004, I was living in a small town called Icebreaker, Japan. It was just at the base of Mount Fuji. And I had a roommate named Dave who loved to snowboard. He came from California, and he went to college, and he was always up in the mountains between classes snowboarding, and he decided to take me out as well. I'd never snowboarded before in my life, and he had found a small place that was about 15 minutes away from us, and he took me up snowboarding for the first time. It was a very, very small snowboarding resort called Gotemba. I'm sorry, it was called Yeti. And the Yeti had it was very, very small. It had a single ski lift, and on either side of the ski lift, there was one run on each side, and it was about 1.5 miles to 2 miles down each run. So you could get there as a competent skier or snowboarder in about 8 to 15 minutes. That first day, we were up there for 3 hours. I got down 4 times. 3 hours of falling and pushing myself up, and falling and pushing myself up, and embarrassing myself as I tumbled down the mountain. The next day, my body was in shambles. I was sore, I couldn't move, I didn't want to get out of bed. But a flame had risen inside me, an obsession to snowboard, and I found myself in a sports department store buying the entire getup. Snowboard, boots, bindings, jacket, pants, the whole 9 yards. After that, we went out 2 times a week, every week, and I hurled myself at the mountain and just threw myself down, and every time I would fall down, I got back up. I refused to let it beat me, and I wanted to be that guy who was carving himself down the mountain, looking cool and just going down like it's a roller coaster, and I loved it. After about 4 weeks of destroying my body, I'd figured it out. And that's the way it is. If any of you ever snowboarded, it's different from skiing. Snowboarding, you have to figure it out. Because there's the edge of the snowboard that just catches and you fall over and you don't know how to get over it. And people can't explain that to you, you just have to figure it out. And I did. And after that, my obsession exploded into full bore. I was forcing my friend to take me up 3 to 5 times a week. And I demanded that even when he didn't want to go, that he take me. Because he's the only guy who had snow tires. I had a car, but the town didn't need snow tires because it was at the bottom of the mountain, and I didn't want to fork out another $500 for snow tires. I was so obsessed that one day a snowstorm had hit, and my friend's girlfriend was in town, and he refused to take me up the mountain. And I had convinced myself, never having driven up the mountain myself, that I could take my Subaru Impreza with all-wheel drive and no snow tires up the mountain, and I would make it no problem. And I did. In the middle of the day, I took the car up, and that 15-mile drive took me 20 minutes. But that's the problem with obsession, is that it doesn't allow you to think the whole thing through. The plan is, you make it to point A, you don't think about point B. I stayed up there about 6 hours by myself until the sun had gone down, and then I finally decided to get my way down, and I had no idea that the road was going to ice over again, and it was going to take me 2.5 hours to get down that mountain. It was so bad, in fact, I remember one of my fondest memories is I stopped the car down the hill, and I started sliding on its own, and I panicked. I grabbed the steering wheel, I grabbed the door, I flung it open, I stuck my foot out the door, trying to stop the car. Rational thought gone. I thought I was going to stop this car with my foot, and it didn't work. Luckily, the front fender of my car and a snowbank has stopped me from plummeting to my death inside the mountain. After 2 months of learning how to snowboard, I finally was carving smooth lines down the mountain, and then the obsession kicked in again and said, look at that guy flying in the air. And that's when I started to want to learn how to do tricks. A Japanese snowboarder, a young kid, about 18-year-old, I had ridden on the lift with him, and he told me, in his broken English, you have to release your fear. You have to release everything that you know about pain and all those warning lights go off in the back of your head, and that's how you figure out how to do the jumps, the twists, the twirls. I don't even know the names, I just do things. What he didn't tell me was that you still have to have some skill. So towards the 3/4 end of the season, I had taken his advice and I had separated my shoulder, which should have been the end of my season, but this wouldn't be a story of obsession if it did. I ended up the lone guy in the snow, snowboarding with one arm in a sling, continuing to enjoy his jumps and his tricks until I fell enough times to separate my other shoulder. My season was finally over. It was my first time to snowboard in my life that season. I had 2 separated shoulders. I had experienced at least 3 nosebleeds. I'm pretty sure I had a concussion because I never wore a helmet. But I learned to snowboard. Now, I don't want you to think that I take everything in my life as insanely as I do snowboarding. But I'll tell you, when I become passionate about something, you should probably watch out. Thank you.